Yeah, again, it's time to have another guest on my show. We have weekly featured guests on my show, as you know. And welcome to my show now. I have an East Anglian, if I'm correct, based independent solo singer introducing on my show, Ervin Munir. Hello,
Oh yeah. Hi
how are we
Dan.
doing today?
All right.
That's good. Well, welcome to my segment here on the show. I wanted to just ask my first question for you. So, when you first started out in music, perhaps like when you were a little bit younger, was that the path you always wanted to pursue?
Well, obviously you had to make money, and so music wasn't necessarily the right way forward to make money. But I always wanted to do something in music. I played the piano, I played guitar, I sang a bit, had a reasonable voice, and yeah, I thought it'd be lovely to be able to make that my job.
Great. How long have you been doing this for, like, say, in general?
Well, I'd say more seriously since October 23, I've really been concentrating on it. Before that, it was just writing the odd song. I released an album in 2014 for a charity that I was working with, and but really started releasing more regularly from I'm trying to think, from October
Yeah.
22 actually, October
Oh, so
22.
quite recently then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
And then would you definitely say to people who like to pursue their a career in music or as whether it's a hobby, there's no limits when you can do so.
There are no limits. I mean, I think that you've got to love it, and I love the process of writing a song. From sometimes it starts surprisingly from something I've just heard, or sometimes I get to make a riff on my guitar, and I think, oh, I like that. I might try and incorporate that. But as long as you love the process, then that's all the money you need. That's all the
Yeah.
income you need, as it were. To actually make money in the industry, I think takes a lot of backing and a lot of talent. And I'm gradually making my way up there, but
Yeah,
it's a long haul.
yeah, definitely the first step. Enjoy it, and the rest takes care of itself. And then, with when you want to make an income from it, it takes time, bit of patience, and what's the word,
Yeah,
perseverance.
yeah. I mean, with people like Spotify taking so much money from the musicians and not really paying them very much, it's quite difficult to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
CDs are quite a good way of doing it, but not many things actually pay you
yeah.
a lot. I mean, touring obviously is another way.
Mm. It's amazing how where things have changed over the years. Everything's constantly changing. People's habits and the way they listen to music and the way they have food and so on.
Mm, exactly. Now, I think online streaming has been the biggest impact on musicians and singer-songwriters like myself.
Yeah.
I think the next one will be AI, depending how that goes.
Yeah, because when you look at like DJs, for instance, you don't people they might not understand how AI can like replace the DJ, and musicians and
Yeah, I mean AI can be helpful. It's a double-edged sword, really. But I think the danger is for creatives in all sort of parts of that creative world, not only music, but being an author, being a
yeah,
poet. I mean, I think the biggest problem, there are two really. One is the fact that AI can use other people's work without letting
mm,
people know, and the other is that it's difficult to tell the difference between an AI generated book, poem, or song from being one that's been written by AI.
yeah, sure. I guess there's pluses and minuses, isn't there, with these things.
Mm,
Um, but that side, I just wanted to get you on my show because I wanted to talk about your new album. It's called Pure and Simple.
that's
Can you
correct.
just give me and my listener just a little bit more information and what they can expect from this album?
Well, it's I'm working with a producer called Aaron Z Jones. I've been working with him since October. Um, it's a progression from my previous album, which was called Broken Compass, and it's a song, an album full of folk, contemporary folk, I'd say, and pop type songs. They've got hooks in, and they're very studio. It's a studio album, so there's a lot of acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass, drums, piano, that type of thing. So it's quite a full production, and hopefully very enjoyable.
Oh, great. So the listener has a lot of musical styles to please their ear.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we like to hear. Trying to get my words out today. And where was Pure and Simple recorded, and what was the recording studio experience like this time around?
Well, I tend to record everything in my home studio. I have a studio here. The only song I did record a song in my previous for my previous album in Abbey Road Studios in London, which was a very nice experience. But I'm at home here. In fact, I happen to live in an Abbey Road as well in Sheringham, where where my house is, and I have a nice studio, and I have a good working relationship with the producer, and we work well up there. It's all comfortable and relaxed, and it's good to have a professional producer working with me. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And would you say, um, setting up your own recording studio could be the way forward for people?
I think so. I think it's a really nice thing to do. I think you can start on a really basic setup, which is what I had maybe 20 years ago, and gradually I've improved the microphones and I've improved the setup in different
Mm.
ways, and introduce new plugins that make the whole workflow
Yeah,
simpler to follow and simpler to use, for
yeah.
instance. And now I've got a setup which I'm really comfortable with.
That's nice. And have you found like just an additional question to what we're saying? Have you found like the price of like musical equipment has really gone up sharply recently?
I haven't noticed that particularly. I mean, I do like a good guitar, so it just depends which one you want. I'm a Taylor man myself on the acoustics,
Mm.
and they tend to be a bit expensive. But when you look at DAWs, for instance, digital audio workstations, they've really been kept their price at the
Mm.
same price for years. So I use Logic Pro from Apple, and you pay it once off cost and once off purchase, and you've got that updated for the sort of rest of your life, which is
Yeah,
quite cool.
yeah. I guess you can window shop, and when you invest, then that's it, as I say, is earlier on it, so the rest takes care of itself.
Yeah, I've also got a local friend who tends to buy stuff a lot and then stop using it after 2 weeks and then sell it. So uh, he's my supplier for a lot of stuff. My new mic came from him.
I know one or two people who do that, but it's good. And back to Pure and Simple again. What do you hope will resonate most with the audience on this album? Just for example, is there a hidden meaning to the songs on there the listener can relate to or connect with, or do you have like a personal standout track on there?
Well, I think the personal standout tracks would be Felixstowe. That's one of my favourite ones. Felixstowe wasn't actually going to be the name of that track; it was just a placeholder word. But as I started developing the song, I then realised that Felixstowe was there to stay. So then I had to research Felixstowe, find out what goes on there, that it's a ferry town and stuff like that. And so that's a really good one. And also Happy Home, which is my most recent single release, and My Heart. Those are the three favourite
Hmm.
ones. But all three of those have been played on BBC Radio.
That's good. And so the first one I'm just going to touch on, Happy Home, is track 4 on the album, if my research is
That's
right.
correct. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
is that one of your, as you say, one of your proud album tracks?
Yes, it was a one of the tracks that wasn't done. Sometimes my tracks come to me just with an inspiration, but this one was actually writing to order. I don't normally do that, so I was asked to walk out of the hotel I was in and write about the first thing that took my interest. And the first thing that took my interest was a woman driving away in a car with lots of exhaust fumes, and that's what's stuck in my head. And so this is a sort of breakup song with a hopeful return for the person that's leaving you.
Yeah.
So I'm quite proud of that. But Felixstowe, I think, is probably my favourite song on the album. Felixstowe is Neil Young has a song called Old Man, which has a sort of slide up the guitar from D to F, or F to D and back
Mm.
and forth. And I really like that slide. And so I augmented it with 1 to G as well, and came out with a nice sort of riff based on that slide. So thanks, Neil.
Yeah, because maybe quite a number of people know where Felixstowe is in East Suffolk. Have you been there personally?
No, I just researched it on the internet. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I think if I'd looked too closely, my words might not have worked out, because I don't know if the ferry actually goes to Rotterdam from Felixstowe anymore. But it suited the story.
Hmm.
And I must admit, I don't want to diss the people in Felixstowe, but in my song only, it comes across as quite a dank, dark, dismal town. And it might not be. It might be very
No.
happy for all I know.
Yeah, I guess in like with these seaside towns, they do become neglected, the fun fairs. So you
Yeah.
do get an element of that. Not naming any in particular, but I know
And
what you mean.
that comes across in the lyrics in the song.
Yeah, sure. I like the album cover to this album as well. It's like a booklet, black and white booklet. It looks very
Yeah,
original.
there is. Yeah, there's a guy called Simon Glossop, who's uh, an art teacher, a photography teacher, and he does these for other people. And in fact, he's done a lot of the artwork for the
Mm,
singles on the
yeah.
album as well. And it's very useful character and very creative.
And I like it's a lot of logistics really going to, promoting an album. As you say, the artwork and you have to promote it and then the studio as well.
Yeah, there's a lot, but there is a nice sequence, and as long as you got that sequence in your head, and you take each step as it comes.
Yeah.
I'm a member of a group called Talent is Timeless. They're a age positive songwriting group for songwriters over 50,
Hmm.
and they offered a lot of support and a lot of training and coaching in terms of how to take your album from having finished the writing process, how to take it from there to release. And in fact, the first song I released, I had a single launch event in Camden in London, and that's one of the things you had to organise. I don't do that now very often. I do that. I
Yeah.
normally have my song releases here, my launches here, but there is a defined set of steps,
Yeah.
and you can tweak it. And the most tedious bit is actually the PR. It's actually getting people like you, radio stations, blogs, and and getting playlisted.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I think are the most tedious. You have to contact lots and lots of people,
Mm.
and I do that
Hmm.
myself. But I also involve James from Global, and yeah, if there was a bit that I wouldn't want to do, it'd be that bit.
Mm. Yeah, I know you mentioned Camden. I know the Camden Club, they put on regular events for up and coming like artists, to
Yeah,
launch their project or albums,
yeah,
which
they're
is
very good.
good.
That's where I played. Yeah,
Nice. Very good. Also, do I take it you're an independent artist? So I think you do is like, off your own back, so to speak.
yes, definitely off my own back. Yeah,
Mm,
and I really enjoy the creative process, but I'm not being told what to write. I think I get guided by it. I mean, I suppose to some extent, being played on BBC Radio via BBC Introducing has done that. So I've listened to the sort of songs that get played, and even though mine aren't R&B and sort of dance music,
mm.
but they have other categories, and I've sort of listened to that, but I haven't consciously written anything to make sure I get played on there.
Good answer. And who have been like your influences and inspirations over the years? I know you mentioned Neil Young. Um,
Some
any of us,
some
any other influences like who've inspired your music, artists
yeah,
wise?
yeah, Simon and Garfunkel, I suppose, definitely. I mean, I'm also really into harmony vocals, so I sometimes collaborate with a woman called Tina Blaber. She is also in a band that I'm in, and she does some backing vocals for me. And I'm thinking of writing some songs for her to be the main vocal. But there's often three or maybe even four-part harmonies in there. So harmony singers, in particular, I love the Eagles. I love Fleetwood Mac. I haven't been able to write a good song like Fleetwood Mac's yet, but I'd love to.
Mm. Great. Was that like so like the 70s era, a bit of folk music?
Yeah,
Nice times.
I like having a story in the song if I
Mm, mm.
can. Not all of them are like that, but some of them are. Most of them are.
Sure. And do you play any musical instruments on this album?
Yeah, I play nearly all the piano, all the acoustic guitar. I actually play harmonica on one of the tracks, and I'm trying to think what else. Piano, acoustic guitar, mainly the piano and the acoustic guitar, and all the vocals.
And would you say you're a bit of a multi-instrumentalist?
Well, I used to play the kazoo as well, so I suppose yes. But my producer also plays 4 or 5 instruments on some of the tracks, so we make it quite a full production.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask about like do you get an opportunity to play your music out to audiences, like do shows, gigs?
Yeah, yeah. All my songs get pre-played before I record them. I try and get the reaction from the audience. So I busk in town and I busk in other places around the area. I play solo gigs in local pubs and clubs
Yeah,
and stuff.
nice.
And I also run an open mic in Cromer, the sort of next village up, town up, and that's a good opportunity for lots of other people, not just me, to gain experience of singing through microphones and performing in front of a larger group.
Hmm. And I mentioned in the interview on the onset you're based like in East Anglia.
Yeah,
What's the gigging scene like in Norwich? Because I know that's the main.
yeah, that's pretty heavy. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think there's a lot of venues there. I think we lost some during lockdown and stuff, and some of them are coming back. I
Mm,
tend not to play there because it's just I have played there once or twice. Played at a theatre there before, but I tend to play more in North Norfolk area, so that'd be Cromer and Sheringham, and some of the and Yarmouth area and the
yeah.
Broads, that
Do you ever
type of
go
thing.
to Bury St Edmunds or Kings Lynn, that area?
I check them out sometimes if I feel a festival or a gig would help me in terms of my program of PR.
Mm,
So if I've got a new single coming out around the same time, it's all about timing. Then I
yeah.
might go to those places as well.
Great. Where have been some of the more memorable places like you performed in the country or outside of the country?
Well, mainly in the country. So the Camden gig was very good. Camden Club, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed playing live in Abbey Road Studios as well. Um, in terms of here, no, I quite like the local pub scene. It's quite nice. I'm not keen on the bigger pubs area because you don't know what you're going to get. But in the local pubs, you sometimes have friends come in, so that's
Yeah.
quite nice as well. And as far as when I play in the band, I've played in some weird places like a huge boathouse once last year, and that would be for 300 or 400 people. That was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's sometimes nice to stay local.
Yeah, and my band they're called Cutting the Mustard. They're not my band; they're actually Tina Blaber's band, but they're called Cutting the Mustard, and they get quite a lot of gigs as well.
Yeah. And would you say kind of taking this route into music, how has the journey been? Has it been quite a smooth journey, or have you had to face a few challenges along the way?
Well, one of the songs on the album is called Doors. I think it's called Doors. Let me just check. Yeah, and you knock on doors every day. If you persist, it will pay. There's a lot of doors that you've got to go through. A lot of doors your songs have got to get allowed through in order to get somewhere. So there's a lot of knockbacks, but I think you've got to set your expectations and keep going. I think if you do persist, and there's a line in there that says if you persist, it will pay. I think it will. I think you just got to keep going and realize that you are good at what you do, and people love the songs, and maybe one will take a life of its own and get
Yeah.
synced with a commercial or a film, and you never know what's going to
Yeah.
happen.
A little bit of self-belief there.
Yeah, definitely,
And there's an old adage that one door may be shut on you, but a few others may open at the same time.
absolutely. You never know what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
that's the excitement of it, I suppose. That is the excitement of it.
And what three things can you share with me and my listeners that make you stand out in like this music industry?
I would say that there's a lot of attention to detail in this in the records. They are both myself and the producer have got a little bit of OCD in this, and we really want to get things right. And much to the annoyance of my producer, sometimes I pick up things on third hearing after it's been mastered that needs to be changed for me to feel comfortable. So I'd say that's one thing, and that comes across in the tracks. Variety, I think, as well. I'm a bit of a multi-genre type performer, and live as well as on the album. And I like experimenting with new sounds and new types of song. And I'm genuine. I'm genuine. I'm singing from the heart, and I'm playing from recording from the heart.
Well answered. And do you yourself have any like musical guilty pleasures?
Oh, that's difficult. I quite like playing. Well, it's a guilty pleasure, but I quite like playing Fleetwood Mac songs
Hmm.
and doing harmony vocals with friends. That's really a good fun thing to do. And yeah, I think that Fleetwood Mac are probably my guilty pleasure.
Right. Are you a fan of their earlier stuff or their later stuff?
Well, I'd say, I mean, I've just been watching a lot of documentaries about them recently, actually on BBC. I do like some of their early stuff. Of course, Rumours is just a classic album. I'm also a big fan of Pink Floyd. I haven't been able to come out with
Yeah.
a good track that reflects that type of influence.
Yeah. And what are your opinions on like say all the old time greats making a comeback, like Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath?
Yeah, not my type of music, but I in some ways I feel it's a bit sad. It feels to me like that they're trading on their past, and and maybe they're not as good as they used to be.
Mm, mm.
And I thought so. I wonder sometimes. Some of them do push through, and they are still very good, and it surprises you. I heard Elkie Brooks the other day on the Piano Room on Radio Two. Was it Radio Two on BBC? And she's still got a good voice, you know.
I know one of the tracks, Pearl's a Singer, is it?
Yeah, that's right. That's the one. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. She's
great.
pretty good.
And I must ask, where's best for people to follow you on social media, like, in newsletters or emailing lists and streaming platforms and so on?
Well, what I'd just say is just worth using my website because all the links to all those places are there, including a mailing list. So the website is www.ervin, that's ERVIN, musician.com. So
Great.
www.ervinmusician.com.
Well, thanks for answering my questions so openly, Ervin. It's really nice having you on my show, and best of luck with your album. And all for me to do really is play one of your tracks from your album. Should we go with Felix though? Because that's we touched on that one, didn't we?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks very much for taking time out and your contribution on today's show. That was Ervin Munir on today's featured guest of the day.
Thanks, Danny.
No worries, you're welcome.